Hello guys, how are you doing? Today I'm going to build a very cool real-time chat application using React, Node and Socket.io. So you can see here I have three different screens open, and obviously we'll do a bit more work on the styling side of the app, but the main functionality is here. You can see you can click here and you will be joining the chat functionality. All right, so it looks like this, pretty cool. So we immediately give user a unique name, and you can see the message joined as this unique name, and there's a welcome message as well. All right, so another user joins the chat room, he gets a unique name as well, and another one gets a unique name as well. Okay, so they all get this greeting message, and then they can start chat. For example, hi, it's me, Indigo here, and everyone else get the message in real time, obviously. And now here, cool, this is Moccasin. Okay, so that's this user, and then this user, let's say Magenta. All right, so you can see this way you can build a cool real-time chat application using React, Node and Socket.io. All right, so before we start coding this awesome project, let me quickly show you some of my courses you can find in Udemy. If you're interested in mastering MERN Stack back to front, then you might find some of these courses really helpful. So you can check out this one. This one is a learning marketplace, something like Udemy. So it is a really cool, massive project that you can use in real world. And in fact, I have built my own e-learning marketplace. Let me quickly show you. That one is codecontinue.com. So this project is pretty much based on the code base that is used in this course. All right, so you can see this is a platform where users can join. They can become instructor, start creating courses, adding lessons, and go through the entire workflow of becoming instructor, or they can just continue using the application as a student, just like in Udemy. And you can see they can enroll into free courses, paid courses, there's so much more going on here. So this project will prepare you to build something like that. Not just another toy project, but the real project where you will gain real skills, everything starting from absolute scratch. So if you're interested in building such real world full stack application, check out these courses. You can search MERN, and then you will find a lot of my courses here in the very first page. Okay, so check that out. There are some other cool projects as well. You can see this is a e-commerce application you'll learn to build in this course, and I have the demo for this one as well. cloudsbay.com. Okay, so this is the awesome e-commerce application you'll learn to build in that course. If you're interested, make sure to check it out. All right, and finally, let me also show you one more. I have too many courses there, to be honest. That one is React Node AWS. You will build a multi-user kind of a community platform here. If you have heard of something called Hacker.io, it's a clone of this project. It's a very successful project, and I have the live demo for that one as well. It's mern-stack.com. All right, so you can see here some of the things, the images, they are broken at the moment, but you can see, you can go to the React category. You see all these links submitted into that category, and you can see the most popular ones. There's a login and registration system. All right, so it's such a cool application you'll learn to build in this course, and I have many other courses as well. For example, let me show you one more. All right, one more. If you want to build a search engine optimized real world multi-user blogging platform, then you will find this is a very cool authentication project as well, and that one you can search for Next.js. If you search, so this is also using Next, and I should have, yeah, this is the one, multi-user SEO blogging platform. This is a really cool project as well, and I have the demo site for that one as well, onemancode.com. All right, so this is a really cool application that you can use in real world. All right, so people can sign up and they can start creating blogs. Okay, so more than one user can create blogs, and they can manage their blogs, they can update, delete, and it is all using Next.js, so it is fully SEO optimized. We have a contact form as well, plenty of blogs. You can click on the blog. Okay, it's using rich text editor. We got categories, we got related blogs, commenting system. There is so much more. All right, so that let's stop there, because I have too many courses. If I'm going to introduce all of them to you, we will be spending hours here. All right, so let me close this. All right, and we're going to start building this awesome chat application from absolute scratch. All right, so let's go ahead and start creating this beautiful chat application. So first, decide where you want to create this project. I'm going to create inside this Udemy folder. All right, so here, let me create a new folder. Let me call it real-time YouTube chat. All right, now let me create two folders inside this. We're going to have a Node.js and Socket.io server, and React and Socket.io in the client side. So we're going to have two different projects, backend and frontend. All right, so let's start with creating the folders. So let's create one with the name of server and another one client. All right, now let me drag this folder into VS Code. All right, now here what we're going to do is first we're going to work in client side, and then we're going to go back to the backend. Okay, so here you can use the integrated terminal, but I like to use a different one just so that it is a bit more there's more clarity. All right, so let me use terminal. All right, so here let me navigate to this folder, cd Udemy. That's the folder. I have this folder, so let me get inside that, cd real-time YouTube chat, and here we have two folders, client and server. Let's start from client. So cd client, and then we want to create a React project here, and here make sure you have latest version of Node. You can check the version. I'm using the latest version 16. If you don't have the latest version, you can always go to nodejs.org and download the latest version. All right, so I'm inside the client folder. I'm going to create a new React project using npx create React app, and then we don't need to give the name for the folder because we are already inside this client folder, so you can just use dot. All right, so let's hit enter. It will install the fresh React project within this client folder. So it looks like it will take a while, so let me pause the video. Once it is installed, I'll be back. All right, so you can see it has been installed. Now I can get inside this project. So cd client. Oh, sorry, I'm already inside client. Okay, that's fine. So what we can do now is we can install some npm package that we're going to use in this project. So let me use npm install. We're going to use this react widget. So react-chat-widget, this npm package, which will give us this nice looking of the chat widget, right? You saw in the beginning of the video. So we're going to use that. We're going to use React router DOM for the routing. We're going to create multiple pages. Even though we're not going to do anything, I'm just going to show you how you can create multiple pages, because this chat UI doesn't matter on which page you are. You could be on home page, you could be on about page, it doesn't matter. The UI will be there, right? So I'm just trying to create a scenario where you might be using it in a real world project, right? So in real world project, user will be landing on the home page, then he might go to about page, services page, things like that, but the UI will always be there for real-time chat, right? So that's why I'm trying to create a few more pages just to give you the real world feel. All right, so that's React router DOM, and we're going to use socket.io in the client side as well. socket.io-client. Okay, let's hit enter. Now you can see socket.io is something you can use in client side and server side both. Okay, so this is the package we can use in the client side, and for the server side we will just need to install socket.io, which we will be doing a bit later. All right, so I've got some version issues. react-chat-widget requires 16. Let me use this with force. Just go up and run the same install command with -- force. Okay, so looks like it's successful. Next, we may use Bootstrap just for a quick layout and styling. So let me use that as well. npm install Bootstrap. All right, so that's done. Let me quickly check the package.json file, make sure everything is installed. So we got React router, socket.io, we have the Bootstrap as well, and react-chat-widget. Perfect. All right, so we got the necessary packages as well. Now let's start the server. Let's have a look. npm start. Let me make this a bit smaller and have a look at this. All right, so we got the React app, nothing there at the moment. So let's go ahead and start creating a few pages first. So let's quickly go to source folder. Let's create a new folder, pages, and inside here let's create one page for home. Let's create another one for about, and let's create one for contact. All right, so let me just quickly create a simple component. Const home equals to, we're going to just return div with class name. Since we have a Bootstrap, we can use class name. Container. Inside this, create another div with the class name of row, and inside here let's say h1, give this a class name of text center, and let's call it home page. Let's make sure to export default home. Okay, so we got a home page. Return, we got some issues here. Okay, we got a bit of a typo as well. Let's fix that up. Okay, prettier is not auto formatting the code. Something's not right. Const home. Alright, so what I did is I took a pause from the recording, and all I had to do is quit VS Code and restart again, and it started working. For some reason it had some issues. I have the prettier plugin, so that will auto format my code as each time I save. So if you don't have that plugin, make sure you use that. That's really helpful. That's called prettier. All right. Okay, so I've got this home page. Let me just copy that and paste in about, and let me change that to, you can do that using press the option in your keyboard and then just click here to multi-line about. So that's our about page. Let me copy that, go to contact, paste again. Let me just option, hold the option key and then just click here, click here. Let's change this to contact. Perfect. So we've got these 3 pages. Let's try to show those pages. So I'm sure you already know the basics of React. So we have the app.js. This component is being rendered in this index.js. You can see it has been imported here, and it has been rendered using the render function. This is the first argument, the app, and second argument is the target element by the name of root, which is here in the public folder. You have the div with ID of root. So this is where the React app is being rendered. All right, so make sure we import those pages here in the app.js so that we can show those pages. So here in app, let's import some of the components we need from React Router. So import, by the way, this code you can find in the official docs as well. Probably it's a good idea to copy from there. So let's go React Router DOM. Let's search. So they have the quick start on the web. So you can see here, this is the basic example. They have imported a couple of components, and they have the navigation link, and they have this functionality here. On each route, they are rendering certain components. Okay, so let me just copy that import. Okay, so we importing those components from React Router DOM, and here let me just get rid of all that, and instead I'm just going to use the browser router. We are importing as router, so let's use that component to wrap everything up. Okay, so inside router we're going to show each component based on the path. So on the home page we will show home component, and in the contact you're going to show contact. All right, so router route path for home page, we're going to show the component called home. And let me just copy that, paste 2 more times. Next one is for contact. We're going to show contact page, contact component, and about, we're going to show about. Let me actually put this at the end. Okay, so we got 3 pages: home, about, contact. Let's make sure to import these components. Okay, so let me use multi-line again. Import home from pages home. Okay, so for this one, about, and for this one, contact. All right, so we have those components, we import and we render it. Okay, so that means now app.component, previously it had just basic the logo and some text, but now we are using this router and it is showing components based on the path. All right, so come here and give a refresh, and you can see we are on the home page because we are in the /. Right now, if you go to about, let me make sure it is a small letter. Let me go to about. Okay, so we have the about page. If you go to contact, we have contact page. Now you see it is repeated. That's because we can pass one more property here, exact. Otherwise what it does is it shows the home because it is /, and anything after that it shows that and this one as well all together. So to avoid that, you can use exact. All right, so now you can see on contact you see the contact page, on about you see about. If you go to home, you see home page. Perfect. Okay, so that's great. Now since we have installed Bootstrap, why don't we just import that as well? So import, to use Bootstrap we can directly import from node modules. So to import from node modules, you don't need to give a path like that. Okay, so directly by default it will import from this folder. So import, actually let me just double check, bootstrap dash dist dash css bootstrap.minified version of css. Let's import that. I'm pretty sure it will work. Okay, now you can see immediately the font styling has been changed, and since we used text center class name, it is centered in the middle of the page. That's beautiful. Now I don't want to spend time on styling this app, so let me just use padding 5 display 1 bg alert. Okay, so that class name is not there, it's the newer version 5 doesn't have that. Okay, all right, so let me use that. Let me copy that, go to contact, apply that so that it looks a little bit better. About, perfect. So we are on the home page. If you go to home page, you might write some paragraph lorem. By the way, lorem is another plugin you can use, you can install and use in VS Code. It will help you generate some dummy text during development. For example, I can type lorem and hit tab, and it will give me some text here. You can see it's pretty cool. Okay, so I can go do the same thing here, horizontal line p, and I can give lorem, I can give number as well, 200, and it will give me 200 words. Okay, so if I go to about, 200 characters. Next one, let me go to contact, horizontal line, lorem 300. Okay, perfect. So we got these 3 pages. Now if you want, you can even add a bit of a navigation which can be shared on all the pages, and if you want to do something like that, maybe you can put that in app.js itself. Okay, so why don't we create a nav component? You could put it in a different page. I'm just going to put here just for the sake of simplicity. And by the way, you can always use curly brace and use return keyword, or if it is going to be just one block, okay, so one div or one nav, something like that, then you can just do it all in one line as well. So for example, let me actually quickly go to Bootstrap and grab a very simple navigation example. make sure you are using version 5, the latest one. Go to the docs, and here source for nav, not the navbar, just the navs. Okay, and let's copy something like this, a really simple one. Let's pick this one. This is centered, so let's copy that. Come here, and let me just paste that. All right, now you can see this is plain HTML, which looks kind of similar with the JSX. However, we can convert this one. The only difference here is class. You have to change this to class name, but for this you can use another plugin in VS Code that is called JSX2 HTML. So I have that plugin already installed. So in that case, you can just select, right click, and you get this option, convert HTML to JSX. So you click here, and that will convert this HTML to JSX, so it's nice and easy to use. All right, so if you didn't have that, the only difference here is the class name. Previously it was class, now it is class name. All right, so we don't need this active, so let me get rid of that. So we have 1, 2, and let me just get rid of this disabled one as well, and let me just copy it one more time. Okay, so we got these 3 links. Let's go here. Actually, before we even go there, we have to use this component. So nav component you want to show on each and every page, right? So in that case, you can put here nav. So inside router we have nav, which will be shared by all the pages, and we have all these routes to serve different components. All right, so let's have a look. Okay, so you can see we have the navigation that is shared by all the pages. Now at the moment they don't take us anywhere, so what we can do is we can use the link component, which is already here from React router, so we can use that. So instead of anchor tag, we can change them to link, and instead of href, link will require you to use the to property, and this is for the home page. We can give this a name of home. Make sure you replace a with link. Let's do that first. Here, and here. Okay, so that's to home. This one we can do about. Let's call it about, and for this one contact, we change this to to/contact. All right, so let's give this a try. Now you can see home, about, and contact. We can click on about, we can click on contact. You can see there is no page reload because we're using the React router DOM. It's a component based routing. Beautiful. Okay, so we got this basic website here. Now what we want to do is we want to add the chat functionality. We will show the icon here, floating icon here. When they click, we will show the chat widget, and they can start typing the messages, and you can see the replies and all that, you know, the standard chat functionality. So let's focus on that. So we're going to go to home page. So let me just close out the tabs. Let me close the sidebar as well. All right, so here first thing I want to do is import the widget from the package we installed earlier. We want to import the widget from react-chat-widget. I'm sure you have already installed this one. If not, make sure you install that. And with this, we also need to make sure we have the CSS for this one as well. So react-chat-widget /library styles.css. So we are importing the CSS from node modules as well. Okay, so now we have the widget. Now to show the widget, it's very simple. So we have this return div container. So at the end, let's show that widget. Okay, and if you do that, when you save, immediately you will see this beautiful widget. How cool is that? Right, that's awesome. Now at the moment nothing will happen. You type the message, it comes here, but obviously we didn't get any replies because we didn't have the server, we didn't have the socket IO, anything like that. But you can see it immediately is quite impressive. So the next thing you want to do is handle the user's input. When user types this message, you want to grab that so that you can send to the backend and get the replies, things like that, right? So first focus is to grab this user input and do something with that. So we're going to just start with console log. Let's see how we can grab that and console log. All right, so for that, with this package, we get this function called handle new user message. All right, so for this one we can create this function. We can use the same name. Okay, so let's do that here. Const this function name, and this will give us new message. When user types in, we get that message here. All right, so we get that as an argument. So we can try, let's try console log, let's say new message incoming, and let's try printing that message. All right, so by the way, this example, everything you can also see if you visit the official docs in npm. Okay, so if you're more curious about this one, make sure to check out the npm package as well. Okay, so let's give it a try. Hello, and as soon as I hit enter, you can see new message incoming, hello, what's up. Okay, so this is how we can grab the user input. That is great. Now before we continue doing anything with the user input, let's try to greet them. So whenever they land on our page and click on that widget for the chat, let's immediately show them the welcome message, some kind of message here. All right, so let's do that. So for that, we're going to use the use effect hook. So let's import that first. Use effect from React, and use effect runs when the component mounts. So actually, let's just let's do it here. Use effect. It takes a function as an argument. We give arrow function, and second argument we pass the empty array. Okay, so what we want to do here is this component gives us another function, add response message. Okay, so we can use that function. So whenever the component mounts, we use that and we pass some message as a string. Let's do it, welcome to this awesome chat. Okay, so this way we can add response message, and this component is smart enough to receive this message. So you come here, you can see immediately welcome to this awesome chat. Okay, so let me give a refresh. So you can see as soon as user lands, they will see this kind of a notification. Give a page refresh, you can see that, and when they click, that notification is for this one, welcome to this awesome chat. That is beautiful. Perfect. Now the next thing we want to do is when they type something in, we want to send them some kind of a response, right? So that means before we give them some response, we want to send this message to backend, and from backend would know how many connected clients we have at the moment. So all those other users' messages we can send as a response. Okay, so here at the moment we just console logging, that's fine. Now what we want to do is now send the message through the backend API. So we get this user message sent to the backend, so that backend knows how many connected clients are there, and then we can show all the users response here. Okay, so add response message. For the moment, let me just hard code response. Okay, so when user types something in, this user expect to get some kind of response. Okay, so let me give a refresh. Okay, so we greet them with that message. User will type something, say hi, and then the response will be coming from the server. At the moment we're just hard coding, but obviously it will come from the server. Okay, that's perfect. So that means we want to have our own server which can receive this message, and then with the power of Socket.ios functionality, we'll be able to broadcast this message back to the clients. So that means we're going to take a break from client side and head over to set up our own server. Okay, so let me close this, go to server, and here we don't have anything at the moment. Create our own server using Express and Socket.io. All right, so here this is the client side running. Let me open another tab, Command T. Let me go back. Let me get inside server, and here first we want to use Express, and then we want to use Socket.io, all these npm packages. To use all those packages, first we need to initialize our project with npm, and that's quite easy. We can get inside this folder first, and then we can run npm init-y. Okay, so that will create a package.json file, and now we can start installing npm packages. So we want to install Express, we want to install Socket.io, and we also want to install NodeMon. All right, so let's hit enter. Okay, so that's done. We got those packages here. Perfect. Now we can create the entry point for our server. So let's create a new file. Let's call it server.js. Okay, so here to create our own server, we can import. Now in React we import like this, Express from Express, but in Node.js we can't use that because Node.js doesn't support import by default. But there is a way. What you can do is you can install another npm package called ESM. So let's do that. Npm install ESM. Okay, now we're going to use ESM when we run npm start. So we want to run npm start command. So when we do that, we want to use ESM. So NodeMon, first of all, NodeMon will continuously run our server, NodeMon-r-esm, and then we want to execute this file server.js, which is going to be the entry point. Okay, so let's save this file. Now with that we should be able to use import. Okay, so that's import Express. Now to use Express we need to invoke this as a function. So const, we can put that in a variable app equals to Express. We invoke Express, and then it wasn't actually necessary to create Express server. I could just create a Socket.io server, but I'm doing it because most likely you want to have a standard REST API with Express, and you might also want to add real-time functionality. All right, so this way you can continue using it as an Express server and also be able to use as a Socket.io server. Okay, so for that we're going to use the core Node.js module called HTTP. Okay, so const HTTP equals to require. By the way, we can use require and import all together, no problem there. So require HTTP from core Node.js module. So this is not something we have to install from npm, it comes by default with Node. All right, so require HTTP, and this gives us this function called create server. Okay, this is a function, and we pass app, which is the Express app. So you can see here, using the HTTP module, we have created the Express server as well. And now using this HTTP, we can create Socket.io server as well. So it gives us this functionality, this flexibility. Okay, now let's quickly give it a try as REST API, just so that if we need to, we can continue using it as REST. Okay, so request response, we get this object. So we get the request, send some kind of response, get the request, send some kind of response. So Express is basically a request response handler. You can think of it like that. So in between, obviously you will do a lot of things, authentication, database queries, things like that, but in the heart of Express, you get the response, you do something with that, you send the response. Okay, request response. All right, so if we get request to /API, let's try to send some dummy data. Let's send JSON. So you can see, I told you these are objects. So these objects have a lot of this functionality, a lot of the functions. One of them is JSON response.json. So you can use that to send JSON data as a response. So let's say data, and let's say hello from Node.js API. Okay, so this way you can create REST API as well. Now we need to listen, so we can use HTTP listen. We want to listen on the port number. You can give any port number, let's use 8000, and that's all you need to do. But if you want, you can use a callback function as well. Let's use arrow function. Let's write something. Let's say server is running on port 8000. Okay, so that is pretty much it. We can give this a try. Let's see how is our Express server is working. Okay, so we can try making request to /API. Now before we even do that, make sure to run npm start. Now node-mon will start up our server. Something is wrong, something happened here. Let me have a look. Okay, that's a typo there. Express. Okay, Express RESS. Sorry about that. Okay, so we have our server running on port 8000. We can give this a try. Let's try making request to localhost 8000 /API, and we get this dummy data as a response. So our Express server is sending us some JSON data. Perfect. Now you can continue building your REST API, no problem. However, here we want to focus on Socket.io, right? So we want to create a Socket.io server. So for that, what you can do is you could write everything here, but I would like to modularize the code. So let's create a new folder. You can call it anything. You can give it any name. Let me call it controllers. All right, so here this real-time, we're going to build a chat app. So let's call it chat.js. All right, so here in this page, we're going to create Socket.io server and have all the functionality we need. All right, so that means we need access to HTTP. All right, so just like the HTTP is creating app, the Express server here, we need this instance of server HTTP in this file as well, so that we can give it to socket.io to create the real-time server. Okay, so that's easy. What we can do is first we can import this file. So let's quickly do that. Import, we want to import that chat from controllers/chat, and then we just need to pass this HTTP to this chat controller. So chat, invoke that and pass HTTP. Simple as that. All right, so this way HTTP is accessible in this file. All right, so make sure you import that and pass this as an argument, and come here and let's try creating socket.io server. So we can export a default this function. We receive HTTP, and here first we're going to create socket.io server. Let's put it in the variable io equals to require. We can require socket.io, which we have already installed from npm, and we can immediately execute. So immediately execute with HTTP as that's a first argument. Second argument, we can pass some configuration to avoid course error. Okay, so course, we can set the origin. You can I think you can give this wildcard to allow from connection from anywhere, but in our case let's restrict it to our client side, which is running on port 3000. Okay, so you can give array of the domains, more than one if you want to. So let's use http://localhost:3000. Okay, so that is all we need to create socket.io server. Now our server should be able to receive the messages sent from the client. Okay, so whenever that happens, we build a connection. Okay, so this gives us this function io.on connection. On connection, think of these names as the endpoint. For example, in a REST server, you could have something like API/users, and in that case you might go to the database, fetch all the users from the database and send some JSON response. So this users is the endpoint, right? So that is the kind of identity. All right, so similar to socket.io, we give them the name, the event names, we call them like that. So you will be writing your custom names here, but this one is a default one. Okay, so io on connection, when the connection is established, you get the socket. All right, so through socket you will be able to receive the message. You will be able to get information about the socket, for example the socket ID. So let's give it a try. Console log socket.id. all right, so as soon as the connection is established with the client, we should see this socket ID in the console. Okay, so to give this a try, we can go to our client side. Let's head over to our React app and try to establish a connection to our server. All right, so let's go to home, and we have already installed that package. So let me just import destructure socket the IO from socket IO dash client. Okay, so we import that, and let's put it in a variable socket as well, which is going to be IO, and we need to give the URL here, http://localhost 8000. So that's our socket IO server URL. Okay, so we import IO from this package, and then we pass the URL to this. All right, so with that we should be able to establish a connection. So handle new message, so we have that. In that case, what we can do here, we can send this message to our server, right? We can give this a custom name and send it back. But before we do anything, let's just go and have a look in the console, because at this point our client must have established a connection to our server, so we must see this console log. And you can see we have got the console log, socket ID. Perfect. Now let me just try. Let me open a new window and let me try again, localhost 3000, and you can see another socket ID has been console logged. Beautiful. Okay, so that's great. Now the next thing you want to do is just, you don't want to just print out the ID. Instead, you want to send this message, the user, whatever type they typed in. So this message you want to send to your server, right? So server knows all the connected clients. So once we get that message here, we can broadcast to all the connected users. That's how real-time is possible, right? So when a user types something in, everyone else, the connected users, will be able to see that message. Okay, so let's go back to server. In fact, before we go to server, let's just go to home, and here let me just comment that out, right? So what we want to do now is we want to send this message, right? So socket, we have the socket here, dot emit. Using this emit function, you can emit the message. So you can give your you can give this a unique name. Okay, so this event, let's call it send message. So this is something you can write anything you like. Just try to write something that makes sense. So we can call it send message, and we can send this message new message. Now when you emit the message with this name, this should be we should be able to access this in the backend. All right, so let's go to backend and try to access this message with this name. Let's go to server. So each time user enters some message, we should be receiving that. So let's go to chat. So instead of console log, what we can do is we can listen to that event. So socket dot on. Okay, so connection has been established, so we get that socket instance. So socket dot on send message, so that's the one we're sending from the client side, right? So on that we get the message here, right? So we can log that using a callback function. So you can see socket dot on function takes multiple arguments. First one is the name, the event name, and second argument is the actual message, which we can receive in a callback function here. Let's use arrow function. So in this callback function, we receive that message, and for now, let's try console logging that message from client message. Okay, so when you send some message, when user types something in, we should see that in the server console. Let's have a look. Hello, and you can see message from client hello. Cool. All right, so let's try another one. Let's create another connection. How are you? And you can see our server knows all the connected clients, and all the clients, whenever they're sending the message, it is able to receive. That's beautiful. Now that's great, but just console logging is not super cool. what if we could broadcast this message to all the connected users? That would be cool, right? So we can do that using socket.emit, just like we did here in the client side. We emit this message with this name, so we can do something similar in the server side as well. All right, so here in the chat, let me do that. Socket.emit, let's emit. We can give this a unique name, just like we had the send message coming from the client. From server, maybe you want to send something like receive message. All right, so let's send the message back to the clients. All right, so we are emitting this received message to all connected clients here. All right, so we have the 2 users at the moment. Let me give a quick refresh, and actually you will not see anything happening here, because even though we are emitting this receive message, we are not actually handling this in the client side. So why don't we do that? Our server, the client side will send the message to server is sending that back to all the connected clients. So we should be able to receive this message back here in the client side with this name, receive message. Let's try that. So add response message. Let me just go on top here. So we emit send message, and then now we can check for the server message. So socket on, to send out, you use emit. To listen, you use on. So on receive message, if you get this event coming from the server, on this event we get, again we can use a callback function where we will be receiving the message, right? Message coming from the server. So in this case, now you can come here, instead of this hard-coded response, cut, put here, and here you can put message that is coming back from the server. Okay, so this way whatever message will be coming from the server will be from multiple users, right? So in that case, let me just give refresh one more time. So we have 2 clients here. So let's say hi, and I've received that message back, hi. This user, hello, receives his own message. Again, it receives its own message as well, but it is duplicate. That's not really cool. Okay, so you can see that's not really useful. So what we can do is, instead of here in the server, instead of emit, you can use broadcast. So emit, what it does is it emits to everyone, including the user who is sending this message himself. So that way he receives it twice, and that's not really helpful. So what we can do, instead of emit, you can use broadcast. So the difference between that is broadcast will broadcast this to all the clients except the one who is sending this one. So here, instead of socket.emit, we use .broadcast. Socket.broadcast.emit, receive message, and we send it back to the connected clients. Okay, so let's give it a try. Hi. Okay, so we got that. Hello. Ryan here. Okay, so I'm chatting with myself, nothing's happening here. Me here. What we can do here is, let me go to home. Instead of writing it here, we can put this in use effect, just like we had this automated reply in the very beginning. We can move this code. Let's move here. Okay, so that will be the first a default message, and then anytime we receive a message from the server, we can add that as a response. Okay, so let's give it a try now. Hi. Hello. How are you? Okay, I think. Okay, so I have the type here, broadcast. That is not right. So BR OAD. Okay, so that's one. That's the right one. Broadcast. That could have been the issue. Let's try. Hi. I guess now you can see it has been 2 now. Anyone there? Now it is 3. So now it is receiving message. So when he sees the notification, he can click here and he can see welcome, and then there are furthermore messages as well. Yeah, I'm here, and you can see I can see my message and they received that as well. Cool. We can open one more window here. Let's try this one. Who's here? It's late night, and this guy says coding real-time chat might. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, so you can see we have multiple user real-time chat. That's awesome. Now let's work on this widget here in the home. So this widget, we can pass some additional props as well. So you can see we have the default title and subtitle, so you can change that. So let's say title, you can call, let's say, welcome. Okay, that's caps lock now. You can give subtitle chat with our, let's say, customer service, something like that. Okay, so that's how we can customize title and description. We can even give the profile avatar as well. So I think we should have the logo here. We have the logo. Let's go to app, and we have the logo, so we can import that in home. So that is one step up. So go one step up from here, and then from there we have the logo. So that's the one we're importing. Okay, so instead of this logo, you could have the image file, anything, that doesn't matter. So you import that, and we can show that as profile avatar, and let's use logo. Import in body. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we need to make sure imports are always on top. So this one we can put it on this. Perfect. Now you can see the replies have the logo there. What's up? Not much. All right, so you can see the user himself has this blue background, and other replies will have this one. Now it would be nice if we knew what's the name of the user, because at the moment it's really confusing, right? So why don't we give each user, whenever they join our chat room, we give them the unique name by ourselves. Automatically we give it to them. That way we know who we are talking with, right? So that's really important to know, otherwise it's kind of very messy. All right, so let's see how we can do that. And by the way, to do that, we can use a npm library that will help us generate some unique names. So to give unique name to our users, we can use this npm library. Let's install that in our client folder. Npm install unique names generator. And if you want to know more about this package, you can also visit the npm page for this library. All right, so once that's done, let's start our server again. And now let's go back to our home page and let's import that first. Import from unique names generator. And so we're going to import unique names generator. We're going to import the colors, and we're going to import animals. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this function, and we're going to combine the names. We will use the color names and the animal names, and we combine them to generate unique names. So first we can generate the unique name. We can put that code somewhere here. Const random name equals to unique names generator. Okay, and we're going to pass this object with options, for example dictionaries. So we're going to use colors and animals, and style, you can give this style, let's make it all uppercase. All right, so that will give us some random name. You can even console log here if you're curious. So we can use that. So let's use that when we send the send the message. Let's not just send the message, but prefix with the username. All right, so let's use backticks, curly brace, $. So we're going to send the message along with the name. All right, so $, curly brace, random name, dash, and the message. All right, so that way each message will have the username prefixed in the beginning. And another thing you can do is come down here, and in subtitle, instead of writing that, we can show the user that he or she has been joined as this unique name. All right, so let me use backticks, joined as random name. Perfect. Okay, so with that, each of our messages, we should have the username prefixed in the beginning. All right, and for this to work, we don't have to do anything in the backend. Everything stays the same. We're just sending the message. When we receive the message, we add that response. Okay, let's give this a try. Try one more time. Let's give refresh. All right, so this guy opens up. You can see joined as aquamarine tiglon. All right, so this one is joined as this name, and this one is joined as this name. So maybe instead of welcome, we should use that here. Let's copy that and let's call it welcome. Welcome username, and then we show that. Actually, let's just remove welcome. It just doesn't look good. It just leave it like that. Random name. Perfect. Okay, let's give it a try. So we got the username joined as that name. All right. Anyone there? Okay, so we got the message here. Okay, so welcome. This user said hi. This user said something else. Ryan here. Okay, so me is Rose. I could have said Rose. rows here, and let's say this user, he is as black Etsinda. Okay, all right, so you can see this way users can chat in real time. Cool. Let's wrap up this cool project. Cheers guys, good night.